Happy hump day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming over to the DFS 5-pack. We got some baseball to talk about. Baseball seems like a little bit of an afterthought right now with NBA playoffs rolling and NFL starting this week, but we are here right in the middle of this shortened season. Things are starting to take shape in the league. We're starting to figure out who the good teams are. Newsflash, the Dodgers and Padres are pretty good. But let's ready and just talk about DK today.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot going on, but still grinding MLB over here. And hopefully these DK lobbies and contests will still stay really sharp because they're really big right now, and I love it.
Perfect, guys. Don't forget to get your money in at Overlay. They have their NFL contests up. They've been up for a while. We did our first view on this one earlier last week. We will cover a final thoughts on the NFL stuff. NBA is already up. Watching that jackpot grow up to close to $6K now in the $22 one. Slump Buster Challenge is still at your disposal. If you can't cash in 20 contests, playing the same contests over and over again, they refund the difference to you. Customer service is elite. Last night, a couple of things fell off the board and live scoring wasn't working. So they refunded your buy-ins, which is always a nice thing to have at your disposal. So if you're looking for customer service for the casual player, this is a great place to go.
Literally can't beat it, man.
All right. Well, let's talk about the DK main slate for the day. We got 3 sports up and running at this point. So baseball is one of them. Monthly customers, lifetime customers, annual customers, you guys get all 3 sports. If you're just looking for football, though, the football package will remain on sale, 20% off up until Friday. What you get for your money is we do members-only videos for the showdowns on Monday and Thursday that just customers get. We do a write-up and videos for the main slate in the prime time, and this covers all regular season and playoffs, so only $80 right now.
Yeah, so obviously if you want to get all sports, check that deal out. But if you're only an NFL guy, you can't beat the $80. You'll make that back in much more week 1.
All right, guys. So let's talk about pitching today. There are 3 really good pitching options up top today, and the premier pitching weather in Wrigley tonight, the wind is blowing in. It's cool. The rest of you Midwesterners probably realize how not nice it is around here. So this game, the 2 pitchers in this game should get a lot of love. It is really difficult to bypass Darvish today, who, for my money, is currently the NL Cy Young. Not a great opening day start or opening start of the year against my Brewers, but since then, though, he has been nasty, filthy, sensational. Everything everybody's always wanted him to be. The Reds' offense has also been a letdown this year. They are not the high expectations that came into the season. I expect him to be big chalk today for good reason.
Yeah, he'll get a lot of love. I mean, you saw even last night the pitchers in this game pitched really, really well. Wind blowing in Wrigley. Darvish has already been awesome this year. And, man, you mentioned it. The Reds' offense has been a big letdown. They were supposed to be on the same level as, like, the White Sox and the Padres. I remember, earlier doing videos, and it was like we were, almost ready to say that they were definitely on their level, if not better. Well, the Reds have a long way to go to be on the White Sox and Padres level. Their lineup just has a ton of holes. Darvish is in a great spot, against the Reds with great weather at home. He's been awesome. I mean, the only thing not to like if you're a big tournament player is the ownership. But there's so many ways to get different that, if I'm making one lineup, I'm locking him in and moving on.
All right, talking about some offensive guys. And another reason that the big money pitchers get a lot of love today, it's not just because they're leaps and bounds better than the guys below them. There's also a ton of mid-tier and low-cost guys today that you can build lineups with. I know a guy that you talked about yesterday who had a very ho-hum day, right? He got hit by a pitch twice and stole a base. I love guys who steal bases because they don't have to do anything, right? They just have to get on, and they can get you at least that safe baseline of points. And that's exactly what Moore did yesterday with tons of room for upside today. So I think he's got stolen bases in 4 or 5 of his last 10 games. He's batting in the 2-hole against Tyler Anderson. And he just seems like a very safe play for points, and he has dual eligibility to boot.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we talk about Cog in the machine all the time. He's even better than that. He's averaging 10.6 DK points a game. And whenever you're averaging double digits, you're, pretty much in play every slate. At this price point in a stack that I like a lot tonight, another guy, if I'm making one lineup tonight, there's no way he's not in it. Dual eligibility. He's one of my favorite players on the entire slate.
All right, next up, another team you can give a little look-see to today, especially some of their righties, is going to be Brian Anderson of the Miami Marlins, 3,600, only third base eligible, but he kind of broke out of a little bit of a slump that he had been in last night with 3 hits. Again, not a long track record in the major leagues because he's a very young player, but he's hit left-handed pitching well in his career so far. I don't know why Tommy Milone is 9,200. That seems like DraftKings is drunk again when they did their pricing on this one. But there is nothing scary about Tommy Milone. Gives up plenty of power. The Marlins are also better than people expect. People want to accept, right? Like, it's still difficult to fathom the idea that they're in the playoff race, but they are right there. And this is a nice ballpark upgrade for them, getting away from home and playing in Atlanta.
Yeah, you get an overpriced Tommy Milone facing a way underpriced Marlins offense. They were good last night. They're in another good spot tonight. Anderson's a good hitter. Had been slumped for a while. Finally got going. I expect him to start having some more really good games, and he's in another really good spot tonight. A guy that crushes lefties, and he fits the pricing model for two high-priced pitchers. So he works in all formats.
And that's just a quick reason why sometimes we make the picks that we pick on videos like this. Like, there's so many guys in play for baseball, especially that, there's going to be, like, we bring up 4 or 5 guys on the videos, but then there's 30 guys that we have to talk about on members only videos. We try to pick out guys on here that fit the bill. Like, we don't want to just come on here and talk about high price pitching and then tell you guys to play Mike Trout, Cody Bellinger, and Mookie Betts, because that's impossible.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Next up, speaking of cheap guys, go DJ. That's your DJ. That's my DJ. DJ Stewart of the Baltimore Orioles, number 24, only $2,000 today. League min pricing, 4 homers in 3 games. And I doubt anybody out here listening to this is scared of modern-day Rick Porcello.
Yeah, I mean, listen, no guy that's hitting in the middle of a lineup like this should be this inexpensive. He's got 20-plus in 3 straight, 4 homers in 3 games. He is just, I mean, if you're making a cash game lineup or any sort of optimal line, it's really hard not to roster him. And that's even with, like, other really cheap outfielders that are firmly in play. Baltimore's in a fine spot here. I mean, no one's scared of a modern-day Porcello, to answer your question. Even if you're not trying to stack Baltimore, get yourself some Stewart in your lives.
Right. I mean, this is kind of like one of those free squares. I'm sure he'll get plenty of love today. Although you never know, with all these cheap options out here, maybe he'll be lower owned than we anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last up for the day. The flip side of this game is going to be the New York Mets. I know we brought up Alonso the other day, and there was a couple of Mets that I had in my roster at some point yesterday, and they were not very good. The only guy that did really much of anything was Marisnik, but none of his teammates did enough to put me in the money in that specific lineup, so it didn't even really matter. McNeil, on the other hand, though, is just kind of this steady Eddie. He's not like I would call a major upside play. He doesn't have elite power or anything like that, but he just continues to get on base, hit the ball. He's playing really well right now. He's got 9+ DK points in 8 and 9 games, double digits in 4 straight, another guy with dual eligibility just like Moore. And yeah, the Mets were a letdown last night. So what? There's nothing about Lopez that scares us tonight. And sometimes teams just don't play well.
Lopez is also much worse against lefties. So McNeil has got to be one of your favorite bets tonight if you want to stack them or even if you don't. I mean, he looks good. Another guy in all formats, playing really well right now, underpriced. I mean, he could easily be 4,500 here. 3,500 is a joke, and he makes sense, again, in any sort of optimal line. I mean, all these guys do.
Yeah, McNeil makes a ton of sense in cash games because every time I've owned him the last week or so, he's been relatively highly owned, and I kind of expect more of that again today. Knowing that he's on fire, he's got a good matchup, and he's just right in that build or that price point that makes sense for almost anybody's build today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that's Wednesday, and we will talk to you guys about some overlay here in a minute. Probably get into a little football today. Appreciate you all watching. Click the thumbs up button, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.